I mean,
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I was like, I can't imagine they like anything that comes out of your mouth, I'll be honest. Doesn't matter what the words are.
Yeah, love yourself triggers them. Okay, so we are recording and we're talking about the things that we love. And we all heard that we got some homework to be able to focus on sending love and acknowledging the things that we do love, supporting things that we love, supporting each other, and just being of service. And I love all the people who I see who are of service. And so we're going to be talking about that and a few other things that have come up in sessions. So Erin, hello, my friend.
Hello.
How you doing?
You're killing me. Can I ask the question now?
Okay. Yeah. So everyone who knows Erin knows that she's a little bit curious sometimes on the weekend.
Yeah. All day, every day. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Because you are of service, Erin, you are always curious because you take this information and these sessions and this way of life beyond just a hobby. You actually are fully embodying what it actually means to be of service, to actually embrace spirituality and be able to apply it to every situation, not just when people think it looks good. And you actually have integrity with this. This is why we have seen you profoundly grow over a very, very, very short time in my experience of seeing you. And ironically, like we don't like judging people, and we don't like, we always want to support people. But when we observe people with big inner work, it is like seeing them with some spinach in their mouth. And, they're talking to us and we can see the spinach in their mouth. We're not judging them for the way that they have been trying to consume and process the meal in their mouth. But we can see it. It's very obvious. It's very stark. And, we're trying to focus on what they're trying to say to us. But all we can see is kind of that spinach. And we sort of think to ourselves, do we tell them? Do we tell them, or do we just ignore it and not bother? And actually, now I'm speaking about it, it reminds me of this one time. Like, I never wear makeup. I haven't worn makeup in years, but I remember being with some twin mummies for a dinner, and we were talking about high risk pregnancies and this test that people have to figure out whether potentially the baby has Down syndrome or not. And we were talking to this new mother who had come into our twin mummy group, and she was saying that they had this really expensive test to try and figure out what the risks were. And it came back that it was very high risk, that her pregnancy would have been carrying a Down syndrome child, and they had to go away for age, like had to go away and process what were their options. And it was really, really challenging for them because they really wanted, children and all this sort of stuff. And so they'd gone to their specialist and got all this fancy testing done. And then when they went to see their midwife, after the weekend, to talk to her about, their options, she was like, what are you talking about? You should never do those tests with twins, because it will always be positive for extra stuff, because I think they test the amnio fluid,
Chromosomes.
Yeah. But how do they do the testing for that? Because I didn't do that, but it is
you see, I think it's a urine test, urine or blood. I did do that test.
Did you?
Probably urine test.
Anyway, so regardless, I'm totally off topic, but I remember getting so overwhelmed because she was telling us about the experience for that long weekend, thinking that their twins were both Down syndrome and what were their options and whether they could cope with that. And so I could feel all of that stress. And I, because I, was going out with these mummies, I put on some mascara. so I was wearing mascara thinking I was looking, you know, semi-human, and you know, so excited that I was out of my, you know, my sweatpants. And I got really emotional about her experience, and I, you know, I did tear up, and I didn't mean to at all, but I was with her in that journey so profoundly. And you know, just to hear that it was, you know, that she's got, you know, it was a year later, her twins had already been born, and they were beyond ridiculously perfect. And they were just sharing that journey. And anyway, so that was right at the beginning of the dinner. Now, you know, we had entrees, a main, and a dessert, maybe one or two extra more desserts than we probably needed. Well, I'm speaking for myself. But anyway, when I got home, I went to brush my teeth, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I had mascara all over my face, all over my face. Like, it wasn't just like a little bit of a smudge, it was like ugly crying mascara. And yeah, and I was like,
and they didn't say anything?
not a word, not a word, not a word. And
those are not good friends.
Sorry?
Those are not very good friends.
Well, I mean, you know, I obviously am not a very good pick, or, you know, I mean, no, it's awkward, you know, like, do you point out something that's really obvious to someone and make them feel a bit embarrassed, or do you just overlook it and, you know, then in the privacy of my own home feel absolutely mortified?
I mean, I go with option A. Always.
Well, that is because you have integrity and you care about people, you know, and you actually would be like, oh my gosh, Joe, you're so crying. You would actually, Erin, what you would do is really rare. You would actually say to someone, Joe, you've cried so much, your mascara is all over your face, you empathic fool. You know, like, you would actually call it out as it is. You would have integrity, you are honest, and you would, you know, you would say it as it is. You wouldn't be like holding back because you wouldn't want to tell your truth. And so many people I see have not told their truth, cannot say things. And then when people do tell the truth and point out either the inner work or the mascara all over the face, or, you know, when I started this conversation with you, Erin, I was going to say it's like spinach in your teeth. And then when I see people who have got huge inner work and they're trying to talk to me, all I can see is not just this tiny little piece of spinach. I see a whole garden of spinach, and I'm trying to like look at the person and actually see what they're trying to say to me. But all I can see in front of me is all this inner work that is just stuck on their face. And, you know, like, so I want to care about the person enough to actually get to the actual person who is trying to free themselves from all this spinach in their face. So yeah, take it what you will with this analogy, but you know, it's a hard one because people don't want to step up to the truth. People would prefer to support what is deemed popular, and, you know, love that and like that, and, you know, show all of their support to popular stuff than say the truth.
Yeah, that's lame. Ain't nobody got time for that, especially not right now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not saying you're lame. I mean, that thought process of social justice warriors, you know, look at me, I'm so big. And in this analogy, I'm such a big light worker, I'm going to New Earth. The problem that that's where the thought process ends, because it should go on to who needs me, who's in my life, who needs me, why am I here? I'm here because I'm supporting people around me who needs help. How can I help them?
Well, that's a very rare kind of approach that you're taking once again, you know, which I love and support, because it is hard to share the truth. And this is why we're having this conversation, to support the things that we love, because there's so many people we want to like name drop in this conversation and give them our love and gratitude. Plus, I know you want to know about the laser event, and yeah, let's just release our. Well, I was going to say, let's just release our disappointment from those people who cannot stand up, who feel so super entitled to everything because they are so proud that they're going to the new earth, that we hope that when they make these choices on a daily basis, that it doesn't kick them in the bum when they actually look at their approaches on the new earth or wherever they go and realize they could have been of true service and they kept making choices to not stand up.
I'm not there yet, but I'll try. I'll work on releasing that. I feel for everyone around them, and that'll be the last thing I say about it. And that's my inner work. I'll work on it. I see so many people around me crumbling. It's happening everywhere. Everyone can feel something. So so many people are in need. So I will work on releasing that, but that's how I feel about it right now.
But those people certainly shouldn't be anyone that's been listening to these sessions, because we have been told for over a year how to empower ourselves, how to see things from the bigger perspective. You remember, you're new to this perspective of processing and finding that balance and being of service. Whereas, so all those people that are really struggling and crumbling around you should be those people who haven't heard this higher perspective and literally reacting to the 3D, because it is, it's very reactionary worthy, isn't it?
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and that is who I'm referring to or about. Yeah, definitely.
So those people who are struggling should be those people who have not listened to these sessions, and they, need to try and find inner peace, because they're either afraid of the virus, or they're afraid of the vaccine, or they're afraid of something else. And it's about acknowledging what their feelings are and why they are reacting certain ways. And it's just part of helping them process their inner work. And we don't have to say to their faces, look at your mascara, but it's more like, you've been crying, I can see it. I can see your emotions, and the reason why I can see your emotions is because it's all over your face.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's get to the laser thing, because this is killing me now.
Okay, so after the session with Sally, the beautiful, beautiful Sally, yesterday, we had a huge long chat about her experience, and we were wondering what was up with that. And so we did a bit of a chat. Well, I did a bit of a channeling afterwards, and Erin and anyone else who's still listening, it was the satellite. And it was the practice run. And the reason why they weren't telling us is because in that session definitively is because they do not want anyone to come in and prevent the satellite.
What? Hold on.
Huh?
I can't. Wait, I thought it was a malfunctioning thing that no one was in control of it, but you were able to call in a subconscious of someone who had the subconscious did not have a very big perspective. Is the nicest way I can put that.
Well, he was a reptilian. The subconscious was a reptilian. And so he's got his own motives. And when we were told about when it actually does etch into the earth, it will not be one person that has pushed a button to do that. And so it will be like a malfunction in the programming. But while they know that they can work with this laser, it seems like it was a very short or a small beam. I don't actually know how lasers work, so I'm not going to pretend to be like an expert, but it was on a low wattage or like a focal point, I should say. And so it was just to be enough to be seen. Now, I don't understand why there was sound to a laser, because it's...
Whoa, wow. Practice run. Huh.
It was a total practice run, because the thing is, what we got was that the reptilian knows that he can't stop it. He knows that he can't prevent what's coming. No one can stop what's coming. And so he understands that, but he is trying to still create fear to be able to keep it from coming as soon as it potentially does. Because remember, as humanity, we have to raise our vibrations as fast as possible, as much as possible. This is why those light workers who haven't done their inner work are part of the problem, because they're refusing to raise their vibrations. So from my understanding and interpretation of that session yesterday, and from the channeling that we had done afterwards, was that they were testing to see how people would react to it. And they didn't want to disclose where it is now. They didn't want to disclose what it looked like. They were not giving out the details in case someone tries to use their free will, remembering this is a free will planet, to be able to do something that would impact the potential of this event happening, because it's, we only get given information in sessions which we are allowed to get, nothing more, nothing less, unless the person wants to limit the information. So you were wondering, and I think even Sally was wondering, did I say that it was a possibility for the laser because she was afraid to say yes? Because who the hell, what conscious mind is like, hell yeah, that's going to be fantastic? I mean, it's not. It's going to be horrific. And remember, when we listen to all these sessions and match them together and apply it, we will know that with Camille's session, that they said it wasn't going to be smaller, that the laser events has changed. It's not going to be smaller, much bigger, which I thought I was going to vomit listening to that, because it was so, that was heavy to hear. We also heard in other sessions we would see it being not just one event, and that we would see it and that they would practice on it, remembering when it actually does happen, it is not someone pushing a button or controlling it. It is, I don't know what we call it, divine intervention, or it is man-made, and it has a malfunction which impacts this planet so profoundly that there's the exit point for Gaia.
Okay, so it's a malfunction, but they're allowing it, divinely allowing, say that. And, but there are people that are practicing it at the same time, like doing dry runs.
Yeah, because they want to, first of all, they want to see how much terror it causes. It didn't get, sorry, I'm just trying to reach for a cable. It didn't get much media attention at all. No,
it didn't get the attention they would have wanted, I'm assuming. Oh, I remember dissecting it, and it didn't get that much attention.
But those who saw it, I mean, we wanted to talk about this with Kitty tomorrow in another conscious mind conversation. Just hanging out with some friends, listening to some random conversations that mummies do. And Kitty actually experienced it. She heard it. And, we're going to be able to talk to her tomorrow about it together as we have a powwow, because I want to hear from her that I was blown away when I sent her the video, that she responded back saying, I heard that. I mean, I don't even comprehend how that would feel. But anyway, so we can just keep discussing that later, tomorrow. But yes, they, I guess.
So what's a change of information then? Because Sally's subconscious was not like, yes, it's happening. Like the several ones before her, like so many people before her with their subconsciouses, they're like, yes, it's happening. This one was unsure.
I think that they're trying to give people a relief, like those people who are super, dry reaching right now at the thought of a laser coming, scorching the earth and having exit points for people. Those people who are super, super, super scared about it, hearing it's a possibility probably gives them that huge relief and that hope. And so that raises their vibrations. So, everything's a possibility. And if those people that need to hear that there is a chance it may not happen, that is exactly the purpose of being told that.
Yeah. Well, everything they do is so multi-layered, and I'm sure it'll make sense to us shortly. Everything always does.
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's not true. Everything will once we get to New Earth. Then okay. Now it's like the things that I get hung up on, like this right now. It'll unfold itself exactly the way it needs to. It'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, cheers, I get it, cool.
I think our 3D perceptions of information, the information can not be so helpful with what they actually said. So I know lots of people come running to me and saying, I'm just going to use your example, my friend, Erin, today. You were like, Gaia's dead. Oh my God, that's horrible. That's so sad. When did that happen? And I was like, she wasn't dead. In Sally's session, they said she was grey. So we have to be really mindful when we listen to these sessions that we don't add information or jump to conclusions, I guess.
I think she said that. I'm gonna have to re-listen. She said she's gray and she's holding on, but there's another thing that she said. Anyway, but if I'm totally wrong, then I'm totally wrong. I can own that.
She said that she was holding on and that she was very tired. Like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure dead people don't feel tired.
Yeah, true. But I was also referencing this weekend, like I felt my higher self tap in several times, which doesn't happen to me normally. So it's just, I don't know, things kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what the term is with this, but I'm like, I don't know, cyclical is not the right word, but I mean, that was such a fantastic session, and then mentioning that and then experiencing, knowing that my higher self is tapping in and mourning the loss of Gaia too. I don't know, it just kind of feels like it does all tie together, so that's why I feel that way. Duh.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I had many visitors coming in and observing and sitting with me and feeling the energy and just noticing all the beauty around. And I mean, spring here, there's so many my house is surrounded by cherry trees. And so it's just blossomed everywhere, which makes all the tulies come and play and frolic and dance and just look gorgeous. And so I am seeing so much new growth, which is, a blessing considering what we know. This is another thing I will just say, which was really, Sally was very surprised how Gaia felt. I would just want to warn any practitioners or any clients that want to jump into a session and feel Gaia, brace yourself. It is the most heartbreaking thing anyone can feel. And while those people are like, oh, she looks great, she looks so healthy, this is all bullshit, I'm going to fucking do a session and prove, this stupid woman wrong. And I know from my own clients, when they have sessions and call in Gaia, you are so profoundly impacted. And not that many clients can have access to Gaia because of that. Your subconscious is like, oh, be careful what you wish for, you silly things, because that is a lot you're taking on your body. And, you know, like I know some clients that really struggle for days afterwards because it's such heavy emotion and that connection is profound. So, you know, be careful, guys. I always am amazed to how people try to misuse this work. And I just, you know, you're going to learn one way or another.
Yikes. Yeah. I'm not, I don't know what the term would be, tuned in. I don't know. But gosh, the last month or 2 months, I just like every time I go outside, I just feel like, I don't know, profound empathy, which is new anyway for her. And I don't know, sadness. It just, what a warrior. Sorry, my dogs are barking.
Yeah, like, I mean, yesterday I did cry when they were, I mean, first of all, I just wanted to apologize to all of the Witch Collective, because I can't believe it's taken this long for me to even be able to think about giving them healing and love. And I feel so responsible about this work. And I feel dreadful that it's taken this long to even consider that. And I don't know why. I don't know why it wasn't brought to my attention earlier. And, you know, so I just feel like the pressure of trying to get everything that needs to be done in these sessions, sometimes it is definitely way too much for one mind to consider everything. And so I always, you know, I felt dreadful that I hadn't even considered all these people who came to help humanity profoundly, give them profound healing. And then knowing that they were killed for it, heartbreaking, so heartbreaking. And I mean, Sally was so mature afterwards. She had such love for those people who she supported in the community, even though they turned their back on her when she was being accused of being a witch and being of not God, and then being killed. I felt disappointed that they didn't stand up and support her, knowing all the help she had ever given them. Why couldn't they have stood up to the truth? Why couldn't they have stood up to their truth? But, you know, as we learned, it was a life exit point contract for her. And, you know, I just think brave choices, but I guess it's all experiences. I can't understand these like death junkies that want to die in extreme ways. I'm such a chicken when it comes to that, but you know, my choices.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to learn. I didn't even know they were collective or this was a thing. I didn't even know people actually did experience this. So, oh man. So I think you taught in that session and Sally's session taught a lot of us about it. So, you know, all doing the best that we can. You certainly can't do it all, even though, damn, QHH2 professionals, where are you at? Because I don't see anyone else doing this work except for Joe. Boom.
Well, I mean, you're probably biased because you probably don't listen to anyone else.
Oh, I literally cannot. I try, but it repulses me. Like I can't listen to it anymore. It no longer matches my minimum threshold of what's acceptable. I mean, it's like the integrity's got to be there. It just has to, or else the work is crap. It just comes through in different ways.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think what you may be seeing is when you're listening to other people potentially is that you're seeing the garden of spinach of ego and inner work that is kind of blocking them from the real high perspective potentially. You know, just throwing it out there as a guess, which then always feels awkward because, you know, we don't want to point this out to people because that's apparently rude, but to love someone, you kind of have to be able to ask them, you know, why are you still in fear? Because what you're saying to me sounds incredibly fearful. Or why are you not being active in service? Because you're sounding very, I don't know, it sounds judgmental, but it sounds like you're not being actively participating in supporting others. And, there's so much I could say. Anyway, my friend, we wanted to talk about the things that we love. And I want to say, I watched the first season ages ago, and I watched the first episode of the second season just the other day. And ironically, you messaged me saying that you also had watched it and was fully in love. And what is it called? I can't even remember the
Love on the Spectrum. OMG,
Oh.
OMG, OMG.
I will marry them all.
I don't know how they're single. Any of them. I'm like, oh my gosh, they just are so genuine. Oh my gosh, they're so sweet. All of them.
The profound experience while listening to them, watching them with their serious authenticity of genuine love. And it reminds us what actually is true love. It's so profound. And like they are serious light workers that know what love is, and they are seeking it out. And we have forgotten what true profound love and being in love with love is.
Oh, so good. I can't believe you haven't finished the season.
I just don't have much time. I'm either sleeping or doing sessions, and or managing my household. So I don't have that much time, but I did watch it, and my heart just expanded. I loved watching it.
That is what entertainment should be. It should be something that makes you happy. This is so bizarre that these are words that are like true. It should be something that makes you happy and not depressed. And the sad reality is there are so few shows, and that is such a sweet show, but there should be like 800 different flavors of sweet shows. It shouldn't be stuff that's depressing. So I really have been, since I've been on this journey of trying to be in the higher perspective, I have been very cautious with what I allow into my field, like what I ingest as far as content goes. So like, dang, there's not much TV going on here either. It's like, it needs to be something like that is uplifting, and it's just so rare. So that is such a sweet show. I love Downton Abbey too. I know I sound 800 years old, but I mean, again, uplifting show. It makes you happy. It's gorgeous. I mean, anything that doesn't make you depressed. I mean, that's going to be a short list for anyone, honestly. But
I had a session with a client. She had a random question about that show, which is some game show that people are in, which they die.
No idea what that would be.
Okay, so it's on Netflix, and it's a very competitive game. People die in it, and there's different ways that they would die from childhood games. It's pretty gruesome. Apparently it is to trigger people from their experiences of potential like being in war and competitive environments, as well as really other dark agenda stuff. It is actually to help the collective, but they have to be watching this program feeling super tense and worried and stressed to then release that and be able to heal from it and overcome it.
Wow, I did not even consider that as a possibility for these shows. Whoa.
That's what Sweet Tooth is.
Ooh, I couldn't watch that.
Oh, why?
Well, I thought it was a dark agenda, but I knew it was the let's see, Atlantis vibes, like the downfall of society vibes. Not that is just what I was taking away from. What was it? Well, I never watched a session. I probably saw it on like one of the truther channels. So it was probably portrayed in a very negative light, but I also know that there have been experiments in our current day and back in the day in Atlantis. And I just don't care to see it.
Okay, so please see it, because it actually, when the narrator of the program talks, consider it the voice of God or creator. The words that the narrator speaks is profound and thought-provoking, and we must be able to see things with the understanding of duality. And while there is dark agendas that are trying to create fear, there is, the good agenda, the light agenda. So yes, many people have been triggered by hybrid children because of their lifetimes in Atlantis when they were parents to hybrids. They either killed the hybrids themselves or they hid them away, or it was, it was a challenging experience for them. So there's a lot of trauma from those people who had to give up their children because of the peer pressure. Can you imagine living in a society where if your child was different, you would have to send it away to an island believing your government would be protecting your children and raising them safely on an island, which in reality killed them as soon as they arrived there? There's a lot of trauma at that, my friend.
Yeah.
So when you watch, because now you're brave and you're not in fear, when you watch Sweet Tooth, you will have great compassion for others who are different. You will have great compassion for those people who stand up to the movement of disempowering others and exclusion, not inclusion. And when you realize that the power of these hybrids, which is so connected to the planet, they are part of the planet, and they are so connected to nature that they are healers. And ironically, through Sweet Tooth, they all suffered a virus that was profoundly killing many. And it was the same time that these hybrids started showing up. What do we know about things? If there is something that's negative, there's a solution created to it. And so the solution that was happening was these hybrids were being created, which were always, just like Atlantis, they were being killed because they were different, and yet they were so profoundly connected, so tapped in, so gifted, so everything you'd ever want in humanity, and it was being wiped off because it was seen as different. And the egos of other people who knew these children were gifted, but it seemed like people were surrendering their children because they were so gifted and they didn't know how to support them because it was, too advanced. Not everyone knew how to do light code language. Not everyone knew how to open up portals. All this stuff that profoundly was being brought into the planet at that time. And because, it was different and new, and the popular kids or, people who were not gifted saw that as a threat. What do you do with things that are different, that show that you're lacking in something, either integrity, morals, or skill sets? You want to shun them. You want to take them away so you still feel significant and not feel you have inner work to do.
Oh, okay. I'm going to
binge watch the shit out of it.
Okay. I'm totally open to it. I was sold a totally different narrative. The complete opposite. So, there you go.
Erin,
I'm excited to have something else.
Did you believe that about something that was written on the internet?
I sure did. I also unfortunately have seen current day video or pictures that I wasn't intending to see, and it's a little triggering because of those pictures.
Of what?
I don't care to go into it. Well, I guess we're already there. I was on one of these truther channels a few months ago. I wasn't searching anything out, but it was the entire narrative in truther channels about Sweet Tooth was they're mocking God. They are not taking life seriously. They are not, they don't cherish life. and they're creating these beings, and they're, I mean, and then you feel a lot of compassion for these beings because they're a science experiment. So I saw pictures of, they look, I mean, it wasn't the adorable, fluffy, like bird kid that was on the preview of Sweet Tooth. It was other things. So there was that. So that's how I was painted. The storyline of Sweet Tooth was painted to me, and that's where I was just like, oh, okay, no, done,
Okay.
no more.
So then let's apply the information we've got from sessions to be able to decode that disinformation. So we know that the creator, God, is giving permission for all life to be connected in. And so the difference between AI worlds, where there is, you know, unity and perfection and standardized bodies and lives, versus the organic free will of this planet, God does create and allow many to come in, have life contracts, and choose their bodies for whatever purpose and reason. And so we do know that, especially with infertility treatments, there is a different agenda, and they are splicing in lots of different, say, reptilian DNA to be able to figure out a way to be able to help their collectives raise their vibrations fast enough. So they're wanting to have predominant reptilian hybrids, but also in humanoid bodies. And so we know that that is happening. We also know it's been very challenging for them to master that, but they mastered that a very long time ago. And so, you know, they were really challenged because they wanted to be pure in their collective, but realized they actually needed to be communicating and coordinating with DNA, which then was starting to call in. And because I guess DNA has the collective's information potentially, I don't quite know the finesse of all of that, but collectives are helping. But then also, you know, certain reptilian doctors have their agendas as well. So yeah, in terms of Sweet Tooth, if you wanted to try and just see how negative it was, you know, I think
I'll watch it.
Yeah. I always am very curious why we are told certain things in the media. Like, I always question, is this a red herring? You know, like when I did see people, I did watch it in like one day, I binge watched it and could see some profound linkages between this and Atlantis and also our current day. And so I think those people who are not wanting people to grow from this information about current day and how we should be perceiving that our children are gifted and that different children are unique, especially now that there seems to be a lot of spectrum. Oh my God, this is how it's all connecting in now. The spectrums, all those people that are on the spectrum, really from the sessions I have learned, they want to be in the spectrum because they don't really want to buy into 3D and participate in the 3D. They're really wanting to be here of service, holding energy and the light and be inspirational and being able to help many feel true, profound love by having different ways of forming communication, different connections, very telepathic. Most of my clients who have autistic children feel like they have gained so much telepathy. I can't even say it properly. Because they are reading the body language of their children and feeling into the language of it and feeling the energy of their moods. And, you know, and unfortunately, my goodness, so many of my clients who have autistic children, they doubt that. they doubt whether they truly have got a connection with their children, because like, I just want to have that conversation with them, you know, because I want to make sure I'm doing okay. I want to make sure I'm doing the right things. And, you know, when I have done all the clients and we've called in the subconscious of their children, and they've always said, oh, we organized this, we promised that we would support each other, and yes, you're doing a fantastic job, and look how much growth and how much you see the beauty and the small things in the world. And we get so, when we're deemed normal and we have to have, you know, normal schooling, normal jobs, normal lives, we miss so much of the beauty. And this is what people noticed when they had the lockdowns and they started having to work from home, is that these new routines actually serve them so much better than, say, their normal approaches, where their children were being taken away and taught all sorts of questionable things in the name of education. And you know, all that's, I mean, yeah, we're going to get so off topic if we start talking about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'll skip that one. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. I just love how that came full circle too. Oh, I love it when that happens in these little guided chats.
It's so rewarding. So people that we love.
So they're inspiring us. They're inspiring the light workers. Oh, they are major lighthouses.
They are. They're very brave. Come in. They've come in, and the people that we perceive as being disabled or less than makes us feel super appreciative of what we do have suddenly. It makes us be very realistic with what we are blessed with. And yeah, there is huge new perspectives to see when you notice and experience and witness someone who is different. And this is why I love the Spectrum program, because we get to look into their lives and see how they view love and relationships, and their parents. Oh my gosh, their parents, I love them.
Amazing. I know. I messaged you. I was like, are all Australians like this? Like, where are these superhero mom and dads coming from? Are they collected in one spot? It was amazing. Oh my gosh. So sweet.
This is why I'm going to marry them, because not only are their children amazing, but also you get incredible, you know, mother and father-in-laws, you know, like,
oh my gosh. I know. I messaged. I was like, are you guys all like that over there? It's not like that here.
Yeah, I know there's definitely different energies with, you know, where people have been brought up. I don't think in general, and I'm going to say this with much love, I don't think in general the Americans really know how the other rest of the world view you folk.
No, but we don't care.
So true. You guys,
we don't care.
No, it's, yeah, and that is
oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. It's funny.
I definitely know that there have been some Americans that have surprised me with such joy. And I know that it's not everyone, and those people know that. So, but yeah, my gosh, you know, but okay, anyway, sorry, I don't want to be judgy, but I guess it's perfect, you know, like we choose our families, we choose our bodies, we choose our life contracts, we choose our missions and our connections, we choose our location. Everything is of purpose and serves us. And I'm going to say it, I don't think I would be the person I am today if I lived in America, if I was born in America. There's just no way.
Yeah, probably not. So yeah, I'll agree with you.
I have deep compassion for everyone who has chosen very hard lifetimes. And I think, like, someone was messaging me today complaining how hard their life was. And I was like, are you still in 3D Earth? Because yeah, it sounds like you're still here. And it's like, it is that we're acknowledging how hard it is, and it is hard. Why should we be surprised at this point especially when we're fighting the system, especially when, this is what is really interesting, Erin, when people say, oh, you should just accept where other people are at. And I say, of course I accept where other people are at. But when I see them so struggling with that whole garden of spinach in their face, and, see them so struggling with their perceptions and feeling so disempowered, so victimized, so everything, it's like, I almost, to respect them, I almost don't want to be okay with where they're at, because I see they're struggling so much. And, like, if I could help them in any way, I would love to be able to help them, because they're literally begging to be helped. And yet people are like, oh no, just leave them there. That's exactly where they should be. Respect it. It's all divine timing, blah, 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 blah. We use all these spiritual lingo logos to like justify people being stuck. People justify to me how much, all the reasons why they should be stuck and off service and not helping humanity, and if, any excuse is no true real excuse. There is no one here that I know that shouldn't be of profound service. And there is nothing that can justify that. So, but everyone wants to hold on to their excuses. Oh, it's someone else's job. Oh, you're, all this nonsense. And I keep wondering why they're not, like, they see, at that point, they can see the full garden of spinach that's on their faces. And they're like, just respect me with that. And it's like, oh, of course I'm going to respect everyone's choices to not do their inner work, but I can see it. You can see it. I can see it. We know that this is happening, but they don't want to do anything about it. So I respect people's choices, but I don't understand why people wouldn't, at this point, knowing what we know, I don't understand why people aren't harvesting that spinach and making it into a smoothie, processing it, digesting it, and feeling good about it.
Yeah, good analogy. Yeah, I can respect people where they're at as long as they're trying to help themselves and therefore others. Anyone else, there's no more time for it left. There's just no more time for it. Totally. Not.
Yeah. Well,
that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, there's lots of emotions there, I guess, in terms of why people, I don't know, like, it was interesting, that session with Jenny where they were saying how, be honest with yourself, and people can project who they are and what they think, and words are cheap, but actions actually speak louder than words. And this is what I love seeing, is actually the actions, not the words, because the words don't actually mean anything until they're actually transformed into actual, I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. And preach, sister, preach.
Yeah, and so I was really surprised, but also loved and appreciated the session with Jenny. I mean, God, that was an incredible session in itself. But it is a good reminder that our teams are watching us. And, while we are supposed to be motivating each other to be the best versions of ourselves and not have any limits, because there is no excuses for limits, and to be limited and blocked at this point. It's like, while we all are too polite to like point out the big spinach in people's faces, our teams are fully pointing it out to us. They will bring everyone in your life and in your situations to make you look. And people don't realize all these significant symbols and these hints that the universe are trying to get your attention with. Some people are really it's amazing how they can disregard what their own guides are begging them to do. And it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, that makes an unhappy farmer, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, isn't that what we heard recently? Was that there's consequences for not stepping up, and like, when you know this information, you're accepting the responsibility of knowing this information, to apply this information and to to some degree, I guess, share the information, whatever that means or looks like. So when people are not able to love others, truly love, like, and this is the thing, again, with the words, oh, I love everybody, will then really love them, you know, like it's words are just so cheap when it talks about love, you know, and I just kind of, if you don't know what love is, you know, definitely check out that program that we said, Love on the Spectrum, because that is classic examples of really just, it's not even their words, it's their integrity of that, looking for that pure love. I don't even know, and this is what kind of breaks a little bit of my heart, I don't even know if that's attainable on a 3D level, because we are so distracted by everything else that we don't put love as our priority. We put it kind of at the back. So many people want money, so many people want physical, materialistic things, so many people want to be appreciated and all of this other stuff. And love and being of service and integrity almost seems to be kind of like last at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I can't imagine that goes well with the farmer. I can't. I mean, nothing we're doing is a secret. I mean, it's so obvious because of all the stuff that comes through. Oh my gosh, the signs that you get, the numbers. I get a lot of numbers because, like angel numbers, because that's how I can see it. Or I just started Oracle cards. That's really fun. I just got them this last week, and oh my goodness, amazing messages are coming across. So I'm like, oh, this is a whole new medium that they're using with me, and it's really exciting. It's an interactive process. So to be like, no, again, we're newer. I'm good. I'm good. No, you're not good. It's not why you're here. Look around you. How do you think they view you? Because it's like, I don't know. If you're representing like a team, and the player that's supposed to be on the court is actually on the bench, just sitting and watching, like, how do you think the rest of the team feels? Not good.
Well, I mean,
we can see the different approaches, and I messaged you with Jenny's session. I was like, oh, I really appreciate they're doing this new approach with the matrix analogy. I was like, it's the same information. It's just different approach. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I mean, creative. I was like, touche, but it's like the same thing. They're very patient, but I don't know about with people who aren't doing it, but I mean, yeah, that's all I got to say about them.
Well, yeah,
because I don't know, I just see so many people in my day-to-day life, they're irrationally responding to things that are going on, or they're very tense. I can now feel it, which I don't like, but you know, I can tell now, and it's almost everyone I come across, and it's just like, man, I'm gonna be there for them because I love them, and even if I don't love them, if they're my coworkers, like, I'll be there for them. Whatever's coming, doesn't matter. But they're going to need help.
Yeah. How is the new Erin responding to them when she sees that they are struggling? I mean, first of all, what does the struggle look like?
Oh gosh. Well, I told you about my coworker at her. She had an appointment, and someone was trying to belittle her because she didn't get the thing in the arm, and it was so clear that the person was trying to justify their own stance on being pro that thing, and she chose for herself not to. So she was sobbing. She was so upset. She's such a strong person, and she really needed to get out that emotion. She was feeling really unclear about if she was doing the right thing. And so I let her get it out, and I just told her how well she did, because she stood in her conviction. She didn't apologize for herself. She didn't try to convert anyone. And she even told me that the Holy Spirit told her in her mind to look him in the eye and don't look down and just don't say anything. And she did it. And by doing that, she planted a seed. So I gave her props with how well she handled the information, and just reassured her that everything is going to work out. Everything's going to work out, and God is in charge. God's got a plan, because that's what she needs to hear.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
How would have the
Yeah.
old Erin responded to that?
Oh, wow. I would have gotten all riled up. I would have like, oh man, I would have worked her up even more. Not on purpose, but I would have been like emotionally invested. But like, oh, how dare he talk to you like that? He's got no right. I mean, I would have been that person.
So instead of getting angry about the situation, you actually comforted the person that was coming to you with the problem.
Yes, and she literally said, "Thank you for being so calm. I knew you would be the voice of reason." And I was like, oh, thank you. I worked really hard to be that way. Thank you. I didn't say that, but that was it. It made me feel better knowing that I helped her through a difficult situation. And damn, I feel like there's a lot more difficult situations coming. So just in general, that's what I'm sensing.
One moment, please, while I go and run and grab your gold star chart.
Thanks.
Oh,
I love my gold star chart.
Oh my gosh, Erin, that's awesome. I mean, sometimes we do love, to run to our friends to vent and bitch about others who have, treated us wrong. But the fact that you actually, instead of going to that low vibe bitching fest, you actually went the other way, which was comforting the person and empowering her choices of what she was doing, which was standing up for herself. Like that's full empowerment to her.
Yeah. And it's I don't know, I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of anyone who stands their conviction, whatever it is. I don't care what anyone's opinion is about anything, as long as it's their opinion, that they came to that conclusion themselves and they're really happy with it and they're not pushing other people into their box, into their corner. And I'm so I'm so proud of her for for not backing down herself. And it was nice to be like, oh look, I'm an actual light worker. My bulldozer days, oh no, they're not behind me, but I can pick and choose them.
Yeah, now Erin's the most deadliest bulldozer who empowers people.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a little bulldozer too now. I like how it's rubbing off on you. It's not a bad look. It's pretty comfy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I guess, I have to have integrity and truth, and I want to be as high vibrational as possible. And I want to be of service. I constantly question and judge myself and really look deep in myself to see, am I doing something that I'm missing in terms of this work? I mean, as I said, I was already bothered with myself that I didn't even consider the witch collective. That just didn't even come up on my radar. Like, pardon me for not being able to give them that acknowledgement and that healing. Because I know for some people it just sounds like words, like, ugh, look at her now trying to heal other collectives. Who does she think she is? But the reality is I'm doing it genuinely to ask the collectives to help those and acknowledge those and release those. And it does actually impact. It's not just words. I know that those collectives will be sending that healing and being able to, because we're using our free will to be able to get that going, if it's allowed. If someone has to if it's a strict contract, they have to overcome it themselves. Well, then, because our contracts are changing, potentially they will suddenly have this, this little, what they may see as a little hiccup, and they may question, why am I really struggling with this now, to overcome it, which then actually could be correlating to the witch life or some other lifetime, which they are transmuting the energy and overcoming it and empowering themselves through it now. So, as we ask, I want to be healed, release all my heavy metals from my body, everyone asks. And then the next day, I just to feel like shit, what's wrong with me? You know, and it's like, oh yeah, that's detoxing. Doesn't it feel fantastic? Don't you feel so you've had that healing? And you know, it's real. People think, oh, this is just words. But when you wake up the next day and you've got your system is now flushing through those heavy metals, you feel like you have been run over by something with heavy metal, you know, and that is, again, more profound proof for people who have these sessions to understand it's more than just words. And, you know, I was listening back to some of my old sessions and, you know, I was like, oh, that's the other time I had that cold. And, you know, it really wasn't colds. It was releasing pressure that I'd placed on myself. It was upgrading myself. There was so many things to what I would, old school Joe would have called as, you know, kind of seasonal flus or whatever. So anyway, let's get back on topic because I know you've got a time restraint. The people that we love who have been of profound service, who actually are stepping up, who actually are wanting to help humanity. I mean, these are the extreme levels, but even just supporting those people who are actually of integrity, actually are pushing the boundaries to help awaken humanity at a profound level. You know, these are epic people that we should love, support, and encourage any which way we can, even if it is just sending them a massive love bubble of just our appreciation for being so brave and getting the truth out there, because it is hard. It is so hard to be those people that stand up.
I've got a good one for you. You don't know her, I don't think. Her name is Debbie Solaris. She's on YouTube. She's an Akashic reader. She has the most incredible videos, and she does a lot of galactic history. Incredible. Great integrity, great perspective, just incredible.
I've never heard of her.
Oh, she's great. I'll send her link to you. Okay, your turn.
Dolores, obviously Dolores Cannon, fantastic. All of her work should be explored. What I wanted to do is also talk about the other Dolores that you sent me the video of. What's her surname?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
Is it Calhel? No, Dolores.
Was that? Oh, the one from Ireland.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I've seen 2 videos of her. And I've even been in conversations with her. This is why I feel embarrassed that I can't remember her surname. I've actually had some conversations with her too. And oh my gosh, like, love her. So yes. Dolores. So let's all learn how to spell Dolores correctly today. It is Dolores, and then her surname is Cahill.
Oh, so great.
So
yes, from Ireland, the Global Doctors something. Gosh, so bad. Sorry, I forget what it was off the top of my head.
So yeah, I am the strength in her speaking. She knows her stuff. She is so profound, and she is like, she has no blocks in her voice at all. And you know, I'm so impressed with her with that, because you know, she knows the law, she knows everything that is you know, of true integrity, and you know, she holds people accountable. And of course, when you're not being of service and you're not actually following morally or even legally what you should be doing, I mean, I felt nervous for the police officer that she was, you know, taking to task. So anyone that wants to see someone that's fully empowered and knows her legal rights and knows the law and actually knows the truth about this medical situation that, you know, this world is under, I mean, you're going to find liberation in her truth and integrity. And I don't know whether she's been banned from Facebook, but however you can find videos of her and explore her, I think it is incredible.
Oh, she's so great. Yeah, I love her instantly too. Okay, I want to throw it back to 1990s Alex Collier videos. So I don't agree with his outlook on the current status of events, but I respect his journey and respect him really being a pioneer when everyone else was silent.
I'm wondering, I mean, you know, is it a case that he just didn't get enough support when he was going through this, that, you know, it didn't help him be able to see the bigger perspective? I don't quite know all the details of, you know, where he got stuck in fear. You know, usually people who have this profound information, you know, like I just hope, you know, like it's an interesting choice. All the information he did share at the beginning, those earlier videos that I did see, I only saw one, was profound. And when you see people being super lazy, choosing not to actually step up and be of service, and he knows the consequences to that, he would be just surrounded with what he would assume is lazy, entitled people who don't really care, don't really believe in his information, and kind of don't really step up. And I think, I mean, I'm guessing, but I can imagine that would have ground. I mean, he knew this information, what, 20 years ago? No, 30, 40 years ago, whenever, do your own math. But that would have taken a lot of toll on someone like that. So yes, absolutely. Fully love and appreciate him. So sorry that he is, I mean, I want to say lost. And that feels really heavy, because we have sent him so much love, and we've done sessions on him, and, you know, we hope that he can empower himself through this. And I know his team still love him very much and support him very much. And yeah, there's a lot there. So that was a nice one. Good one.
Yeah, respect.
Who else?
Okay. The ghost of John McAfee. Ghosts are effing cool, man. Oh yeah. That's what he said when he came through Karen that one time, and I was like, oh, that's so funny. She would never say that.
It is interesting when people haven't experienced strangers coming in through sessions and talking, like allowing their energy to come through, because it's like, whoa, that voice was different, or those sayings were not my sayings, and it makes them feel really strange and peculiar why this big personality is coming in to, you know, hear and do all sorts of bits and pieces. So, you know, it's a really,
yeah, he's a personality. He's been fun listening on the channel. So thanks wherever he is.
Someone asked me about him the other day, and my feelings is he is fully crossed back to source, and so he is not lingering around anymore. I think he was realizing it was really impacting his wife, because he was spending so much time with her. She could feel his energy, which so she was grieving and mourning for him more. And so I think he was guided to kind of truly step away, so then she could not, I mean, this is awful, so she couldn't feel him. So then she kind of, it was a, you know, he had to go back to source to be able to get that profound healing. I think he's really motivated to do other things soon. So, you know, but just to give her that distance, so then she could kind of have that process of picking up her life as it is now.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to do the American thing again. Donald Trump. Love. Underline love.
Okay. Well, that's your choice. And, you know, and that is fine. I don't have any opinion really of Or do I? Let's have a look.
He's a great alarm clock. I think that can be undisputed, right? Is that something that everyone can agree on? He's a good alarm clock?
Well, because of him, I watched him talking about, April last year, I was watching him talking about what he was going to do to help his country with with the pandemic. And I listened to the whole thing, and I just kind of, got to hear his perspective on it, which was valid. I didn't want to listen to my own governments about it. And then I started seeing all the media reporting and misquoting him horrendously in that speech he did. And I was like, how, like, the audacity of that. Like, I listened to that. It's not even true. Like, how could they even print that slander? It is so ridiculous. And then, I've never really paid that much attention to the media because I kind of believed it was all nonsense anyway, but to see it so profoundly, I'm like, it's a lot. Like, you can watch that video that he said online, and like the audacity to lie. This is the thing that kind of does, like, make me question people so deeply. When you put something in words that is obviously a blatant lie, and there is literal proof of either your other words saying something else, or the truth of what you're actually lying about, like, the balls that you have, the audacity. Like, do you think you're that convincing or that special or unique that people don't see right through you?
Well, sad reality is works pretty well.
Yeah, it was, that was, I guess, that was I knew that they sort of were, had their own sort of agenda, but I did not realize how feral it was. So that was a big wake up call. And then, okay, so every kind of leader has got a role to awaken people. And the whole, I'm kind of am loving the Pandora Papers, but I do feel like it's a distraction. I feel like the amount that they have had tax evasions of is much, 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 much more than what they're claiming. I think the reason why the Pandora Papers is out in public is to actually offend people deeply, that many people have been profoundly impacted financially through the last year, and nearly 2 years. And yet all of these people who should easily be able to pay their taxes, which would then benefit everyone, have been getting away with it through legal loopholes. And this has been happening for a very, very, very long time. You'd be delusional if you didn't think that people are using the systems to get away with all sorts of bits and pieces. So it's very interesting timing now to just really rub it in those people who are really struggling financially, they've lost all their businesses, and yet to just be reminded that these people have saved, millions of dollars in their multi-billion-dollar deals, which could have been actually be able to help, the structures and systems that we as common men and women have to rely on. So, first of all, I don't ever believe that the amount, I think it's so much bigger than that. And it's interesting timing now that we're being distracted with all of this because, because money is such a big thing for everyone. If you really want to trigger people, talk about money. A lot of people assume so much about money. And if you look like you are rich, then people respect you more. And, there's so much superficial attachments to it.
Yep, I'm American. I know about that. Oh yeah, big time. Lots of that going on here, but I kind of feel like disclosures. Like that's the first public disclosure. Like that was on mainstream media, and I say that trying not to mock. I don't know what else to call them. Like the normal letter. NBC, CBS, blah, blah. those stations or those websites were reporting on it. And I was like, has disclosure begun?
Yeah, well, that kind of was also another hope, wasn't it? That this is what lots of people were hoping, that the social media shutdowns yesterday was trying to eradicate, but that's not the truth. Like, it's not, there was something else going on there, and it certainly wasn't the Pandora Papers, which is, to really make people so angry that they have lack, and many influencers have so much more that they can afford to learn and find, and have workers do loopholes for them, which is a tax evasion.
Yeah, touche. Well, I have, my kids are home. I've got to go do the mommy thing.
Can we talk about, just acknowledge the name? How do you say his surname? What's James's surname?
Oh yeah, James O'Keefe with Project Veritas. Amazing
work. Like, I do get a bit cringy when I know these people are being filmed without their awareness, but if that is what it has to take to get the actual truth out for people, that's how, that's where we've come. We're having to kind of almost force people to be honest, just to be able to get the information out, because no one is stepping up to share the truth any other way apart from being coerced.
Yeah, bravo to those reporters that keep liquoring up these. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Often it does feel like awkward dates where they're trying to impress someone. It does.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, they must be super hot. Whatever, it's working. Thanks, guys.
And what is it called? No, it's not catfishing. I don't know what it is, but if anyone hasn't watched the videos, definitely just check them out. They are, the last ones from yesterday or this one, I can't remember, are very good. And the whole the antibodies is very significant, and everyone should be talking about our natural antibodies at this point.
Yup. Oh, love that. I'm excited to see what else they come up with.
Cool. Okay, bye. Have fun with your
Bye. I'll chat with you tomorrow.
Cool. Ciao.